I also can't not talk about the atomic bomb. Everyone now knows the Inheimer part of Barbenheimer. Oppenheimer won Best Picture at the Academy Awards in 2024, and Cillian Murphy and his cheekbones won Best Actor. It was an unlikely cultural phenomenon, a 3 hour epic about physics that had the same release date as a movie about a doll, and by extension, the female experience. Oppenheimer showed how bad J. Robert Oppenheimer felt about the bomb, but not how bad Japanese people felt. More than 200,000 people were killed in the devastating bombings in 1945. When Christopher Nolan's film was released in Japan in 2024, 8 months after it premiered in the US, Europe, China, and South Korea, it premiered with content warnings that it could bring up memories. The August 31st, 1946 issue of The New Yorker was dedicated to a report by John Hershey. On the cover, over a happy summer picnic scene, was a white paper overlay that read, Hiroshima. This entire issue is devoted to the story of how an atomic bomb destroyed a city. No talk of the town, no cartoons, no shouts and murmurs. That would have been in poor taste, like this comedy podcast about war, but worse. The report opens at exactly 15 minutes past 8 in the morning on August 6, 1945, Japanese time. At the moment when the atomic bomb flashed above Hiroshima, Miss Toshiko Sasaki, a clerk in the personnel department of the East Asia Tin Works, had just sat down at her place in the plant office and was turning her head to speak to the girl at the next desk. Later, we learn everything fell, and Miss Sasaki lost consciousness. The ceiling dropped suddenly, and the wooden floor above collapsed in splinters, and the people there came down, and the roof above them gave way. But principally, and first of all, the bookcases right behind her swooped forward, and the contents threw her down, with her leg left horribly twisted and breaking underneath her. There, in the tin factory, and the first moments of the atomic age, a human being was being crushed by books. Another harrowing moment follows the German priest, Father Wilhelm Kleinsorge, after the blast. Hershey writes, the street was cluttered with parts of houses that had slid into it, and with fallen telephone poles and wires. From every second or third house came the voices of people buried and abandoned, who invariably screamed, with formal politeness, help, if you please. The priest recognized several ruins from which these cries came from as the homes of friends, but because of the fires, it was too late to help. Neither Miss Sasaki, a clerk in the personnel department at a tin company, nor Father Kleinsorge, the German priest, were involved in the bombing of Pearl Harbor, yet they suffered the consequences.